So this is the book then, out tomorrow, and I'm going to pass it back to you, mate.
Thank
you. Any chance of a sequel, do you think, if Arsenal were to win the title? You're going to have to add a couple more chapters, aren't you?
It would be nice. Well, there's going to be a paperback version released next year, so there is going to be an update coming. But yeah, in terms of sequel, it'd be very nice to sort of end it, round it off with a Premier League win or a Champions League win. Who knows? When we started it, obviously Arsenal were looking good for the title, but it was never just about winning the title. It was about the whole story, about how things would change. So it wasn't, you know, we were always going to do it if they won it or not last season. But yeah, it'd be very nice to round off a new sequel with a Premier League or who knows, a Champions League win. I think it's just a dramatic change that has taken place at Arsenal since Mikel arrived. You know, I've been there sort of covering the club throughout the time there, during the sort of end of Arsene into Unai Emery and then Mikel, and just the way the club has changed from top to bottom since he's come in and sort of picked it up, not really off its knees. It wasn't quite that low, but you know, it was a real struggling club. They needed someone to come in and put it in the right direction again and get it going again, and he's certainly done that. I think sort of going back over that during the book, speaking to people who are around who worked with him, it was just very apparent the change that he has led and the excellent work that he's done.
I see you dedicated it to your dad here, and no doubt you'd have been watching the games for years and years and years, and there's been some brilliant times. But how excited are you about this period now under Arteta?
Really excited. I mean, it's tough not to be excited when you look at the team of the year. They're 4 Arsenal players, and they're 4 very young Arsenal players, and that's the way the sort of team has emerged now. There's this young, vibrant team who went so close last season, didn't get it done, but they went so close, and they sort of breathed new life into the club. The atmosphere around the place is completely different. You know, a few years ago, you go to Arsenal and it was fractious. Frankly, it wasn't a very fun place to go and watch football. And now you go there and the atmosphere is different. The fans are involved. You know, everyone can see the direction, the trajectory the club's heading in, and it's really tough not to be excited about what's going on there. I think it's certainly going to take time to get used to it. Whether Mikel sticks with what he's doing at the moment, we'll have to wait and see. I think this weekend against United will be really interesting in terms of what he does with his system and formation. You know, I can understand what he's doing in these 3 games and why he's doing it, the sort of tactical insight behind it. Whether I agree with it, I'm not quite so sure. I'd much rather see Ben White playing at right back, I think, than Thomas Partey at the moment. You know, I'd love to see Gabriel back in the team. I'm not quite sure why really he's been taken out. He's forged this excellent relationship with William Saliba. The pair of them were so influential last season in Arsenal's success, and sort of breaking out that centre-back partnership. It's tough to really look at from the outside of things and understand why he's doing it, really. But you know, Mikel's far more tactically astute than I am, and I'm sure he's got, you know, very strong reasons for it. But like I said, it'll be really interesting when Zinchenko comes back this weekend and is fit and starts as we expect he probably will. I think it'll be really interesting to see exactly how Mikel sets things up. Really good. I mean, Kai Havertz is taking his time to settle in. I think he's getting a lot of criticism at the moment. I don't think he'd done anything wrong in the first couple of games, really. He hadn't done anything spectacular, but he hadn't done anything wrong. He struggled definitely against Fulham at the weekend, and he's just going to take a little bit of time to settle in and adjust to new surroundings. Declan Rice has, you know, hit the ground running, I think, as we all expected. I mean, he's been fabulous the last couple of games, and you know, such an important signing for Arsenal.
Oh, massive.
On and off the pitch as well, in terms of what it means for the club. And yeah, so really excited to see how he evolves. Obviously, it's a real shame what happened to Jurrien Timber on the opening.
Yeah, because he looked like a good signing as well. I mean, he's versatile. I have to say, I thought Timber and Rice are excellent additions.
Yeah,
I really do. And I think you're looking at how you can close the gap on City. But players like Rice, I mean, particularly, it does help bridge that gap, doesn't it?
It does, 100%. And I think all the signings, all the summer business was aimed at making Arsenal a bit more unpredictable. You know, all of those players, Havertz, Rice, Timber, they could all play in a number of positions. And you know, last year, I think we all knew if everyone was fit, who was going to start for Arsenal and where. You know, you could shut your eyes and point to it. This year, it's completely different. I think that Mikel looked at it at the summer, and Edu looked at it at the summer, thought, how do we go that one step, you know, further and get past Manchester City? And maybe that was a real key thing in terms of the way they sort of built the squad this summer. I mean, that's no surprise, really. Coming from Chelsea, Arsenal haven't got a great history of signing players from Chelsea. They haven't always been success stories, and he was the one signing, I think, this summer that large chunks of the fan base weren't really going to give much time to settle. And if he didn't sort of hit the ground running, I think there's always going to be a lot of focus on him, and that, you know, that's the way it's panned out. I think he's going to be a good player, I really do, but I think he just needs a little bit of patience. Patience isn't always something that's given in football, is it? But I think with Havertz, he's come from a club where his confidence was probably a little bit low. He's come into a manager who takes time to get used to his way of thinking. I sat down with Tommy Astu last season during an interview, and I said to him, what's the difference from previous year to this year? How have you taken that leap? He said, well, we just understand Mikel more. Last year we knew what he wanted, but we just couldn't put it into action. But another year, now we actually can do what he wants to say, and I think you've got to just give players time to adjust.